Please rise for the pledge. Thank you all. Could I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I am sensing, since Nick is the only one here, that we do not have 4.1 yet. So let's put that on hold and let's move on to number 5.1, Navigating Your Competitive Future Workshop. Mr. Merrick.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In your packet is a report from the Urban Land Institute authored by Gordon Hughes, who is the city's main contact for navigating your competitive future. A lot of it has been covered previously. I just wanted to provide the report for the council to comment on if you had any comments or direction for the staff. As an update, Cindy Nash, John Shardlow with Stantec, and I have been meeting, talking about putting together an action plan based on comments that we got at the workshop, but also based on what we've experienced in Carver over the last few years and what we see as trends. And so we're working on building that plan to take to the city council at that upcoming workshop. But or work session, if there's any additional comments that maybe come to mind when you read the report from the Urban Land Institute, if you have those, be happy to take that as feedback as we prepare an outline for your review.
I thought that meeting was great, and I think some of the things that came out of it allow us to focus. And it kind of tilted me towards a different direction than I had originally planned, and the reasons were very good, and they made sense. And I appreciated it. Well done organizing that, and thank you to John Shardlow for the suggestion. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
I would just echo what you said, that I thought it was a very good meeting. It was a good way to start forming some ideas in our minds about how we should be going about this as opposed to how we've been going about this. And so, yeah, I thought it was really good.
I was kind of fascinated by the way that we've been focusing on, not kind of floundering in a way, but trying to find business, and that really, truly, the professionals came out and said, business will come. You need rooftops, and focus on rooftops, and to
focus on our story and what
absolutely,
we're about.
Narrative. Yep, the narrative of how we got here and where we're going, and
yeah.
I know that Brent and I have talked a little bit about trying to put something together with that too, and the variety of housing. That was extremely important from people outside of our area, interested, disinterested third parties that say this is what you're doing, and to continue the narrative and do what we have been doing was great information to have. Anyone else? All right, no action needed there. There are no public hearings. Could I get a motion on the consent agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. There's a motion and apparently 2 seconds. You can choose which one. There's a motion and a second and a half. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Wow.
Was Mr. Buckingham coming this evening, or was this just for us to discuss?
He had indicated, based on our email, I guess I assumed, I didn't see it in the email that he was going to come. I asked who was going to be presenting, and he sent me an email back, which you see in your packet. I think
that's why I wondered if he was coming.
I think the request is self-explanatory. If you have questions, I can try to field them. It's essentially what you have on your other population signs throughout the community. And I know it probably seems like a pretty generic request. We just wanted to put this in front of the council since we haven't in the past, but you could be in a position where other community groups ask to post signs on the population signs. So we just wanted to run it by the council. You already have lion signs on some of your other population signs, but just wanted to get the feedback if there is any.
Well, I would say that I am totally in favor of it, and in full disclosure, I am a lion. But I mean, we want to update the signs. The 2 signs that are already there are old signs. And we had talked in the past actually about putting a third sign on Jonathan Carver Parkway, but never kind of got to it. So, I mean, to open up the discussion, does anybody have opposition to this?
I don't have a problem with it.
And if they're paying for the signs and they're paying for the poles,
Well, it's not, it would be using the existing posts, and they're actually,
Okay.
they're in county right away, so yeah. We don't have any costs associated with it, it's just a matter of getting your blessing, so to speak.
yeah. Well, I think the Carver lines, do a lot for the city of Carver, and I would like to see us put up the new signs.
Was that a motion? Or does it need
I'm
a
waiting to
motion?
see if anybody else wants to say something.
I think I'm in full support, and I heard a couple other people say they were, so.
All right, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the new signage for the Carver Lions in the 3 places indicated in the request.
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion or clicking of pens?
Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that gets 4.1, 5.1 consent agenda. We have no unfinished business. All right, Monroe.
Our next planning commission meeting is this Thursday.
Wygant.
We had a interesting HPC meeting last week, but it seemed to come out okay.
Oh,
Also,
informative.
I feel like I know more now than I did 5 minutes ago.
well, there was a concern. There was a concern, and this is maybe something we need to consider in the future. There's a house being remodeled, restored, maybe is a better terminology. They replaced the windows. The windows did not match what the HPC wanted. They never got a building permit. Never realized that they were supposed to go to HPC, and could have been really ugly. But they made some changes to some other windows, and everybody seemed to be happy, or at least reasonably happy.
Okay.
The other thing is you have a copy of the thing for the Met Council. I was at Metro Cities, and I was at that last week. That was one of the things other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Hank? Fred?
There is a Carver County elected leaders meeting next Tuesday.
I got that email. Am I not? Is that you? That's you.
Carrie.
That's you.
That's why I just... And Cindy Monroe will be going.
But you go by yourself.
Brent
And
usually
Brent.
goes.
Can I go to that meeting ever?
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
I attended the Regional Council of Mayors meeting downtown Minneapolis, and I think it's going to be a great addition. Really got a lot out of it, and one of the things that, as a group, it started in 2004 with 8 mayors, and now there's 53 mayors from throughout the Twin Cities. There's a lot of really good resources there and a lot of really good people, and one of the things that they're focusing on, and the narrative that we have as a city is affordable housing, and what we've gone through and the experience that we've had, I think is going to be extremely beneficial from where we go. It kind of is revisiting the same conversations that we had 2 years ago. Other than that, I did want to add in the minutes, it said that Mayor Mike Webb thanked the city of Chaska and Southwest Transit and Len Simich. I want to make sure that it denotes that I thanked Mayor Mark Winchittle for doing an extremely great job in a very understated way. I want to just make sure that I pointed that out. Other than that, I have nothing else. Brent, do you have anything?
Just one update that the council's aware of, but I think it bears repeating just because we're on television. And I think it's something that the mayor and I talked about putting together maybe a more comprehensive update. But as it relates to the community space study, there's some additional work, and I actually had a conversation with Cindy McCleary with Leo A. Daly today just verifying some of the things that the combined task force wanted. And one of them is to really bear down and look at Village Hall and options for, one, correcting the structural issues, but two, renovating the upstairs space into an office space and all the things that go along with that, including accessibility. Secondly, getting down into concept layouts for some of the higher ranked sites as far as how they lay out with building and parking on each of the properties. And then last but certainly not least is cost perspectives and how each of these projects impact costs. And what we're planning on is developing those, and then we'll meet prior, and then I'll be able to take that information, add any additional costs that we might see happen. So if you choose a certain site that might need intersection improvements or water and sewer infrastructure improvements, we can add some estimates for that, and then work and try to get a sense of what our bond payments might be if we were just going to do a straight up general obligation bond. And so that, I think that'll add several layers of perspectives, not just for the task force, but once this is ready to be introduced to the community, there can be a really robust dialogue on what the pros and cons are of each site. Recognizing that people are probably growing a little impatient, but I think one person described the process as really thoughtful, and I think there's a really good dialogue that's occurring. It's an investment over decades, as everyone knows, and so that discussion has taken a little bit longer, but I think it's going to bear some fruits.
I'd like to make a comment. I fully understand the timeline and everything, but maybe we should try to make an estimation of what the timeline is. Because every time we meet, people think, oh, they're going to finally make a decision. And that's not really true. And it'd be nice if they knew, when we are going to get to that point. Or at least, some estimate.
What I would like to be able to do in that update, and if you want the date, we can push for that. What I'd like to be able to do is tell them what the next maybe 1 to 2 next steps are. I'm a little hesitant to say what the schedule is, because there's typically people that follow that schedule, and then if you say, then all of a sudden it's a month behind. Someone will say, well, we originally thought that was going to be in December, and then you'll see a headline that says, council planning or community space process 1 month behind. So we don't like to give people any additional ammunition than they already have.
I mean, hypothetically.
Hypothetically, of course, yeah.
But I don't have a problem with that. We don't have to come up with a date, but I think we should say, these are the things we're trying to do, get all our ducks, and we figure it's still going to run several more months.
Yeah, totally agree. There's an opportunity to kind of give the entire community an update on where we're at. There's been a lot of work done, and I think the last meeting shed some light on what our next steps are. And so we'll try to take advantage of that opportunity quickly here.
Outstanding. Sorry, Nick. Anybody have anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you all.